Hey, what's up YouTube, and welcome to this video on how to use the Recreational Dive Planner with the Theoretical Depth at Altitude table. I took a break from some of my Cisco certifications to try another type of certification, and since I live in Colorado, I thought it would make sense to get the next certification, which is Scuba. So I've been open water certified now for about 2 weeks, and I can say I am addicted. Um, I'm working on other specialties, including altitude, close to having all my dives done for advanced open water, and it's been a lot of fun. And when I first started, they start you off, telling you about what all the equipment is and this and that, and but then the recreational dive planner, I looked at that thing and I was like, is this like some bingo board on steroids? And it was one of those things where I thought I got it, and then I wouldn't use it for a while, and then I came back to it, and you know, um, it took a while to actually get the hang of it. So, and based on the stuff that I've read on it, I made it so much more complicated than it needed to be. And so then once I got into altitude diving and adding another table to it, um, it got a little more confusing. But now I think I have it down, and um, there is a sample question from the PADI Adventure Diver questions, and I thought I would use this to show you how to use to answer these questions with the RDP, and hopefully it'll make sense because instead of keeping it all complicated as I had it in my mind, I basically uh, narrowed it down to two questions that need to be asked. And the first one is to determine what the actual depth to theoretical depth is. And second, if you need to dive less than 6 hours after landing at altitude from sea level, determine the amount of excess nitrogen you have to account for. So when you land at 1,000 feet or higher from sea level, it's like you are in a lower pressure atmosphere, so it's like surfacing from a dive. So you would just plan it as a multi-dive. So let's look at the questions here. It says you wish to dive to an actual depth of 80 feet 1 hour after arriving from sea level to an altitude of 4,532 feet. What is your no decompression limit? What is your no decompression limit if you wait 6 hours before making the dive? So when it comes to altitude, we're going to round up the feet into the next thousandth. So since this is 3,200, we'll round that up to 5,000 feet. And when we use the theoretical depth at altitude chart, we will round the theoretical depth to the next tenth or hundredth place. So with that, it says the actual depth is 80 feet, and we're going to say 80 feet at 5,000 feet. So if we go to our theoretical depth to altitude, we will take the actual depth of 80 feet and go over to 5,000. And as you can see, it is 96 feet. And then we go ahead and round that up to 100. So our theoretical depth is going to be 100 feet. And then, so then the second piece is, as I stated, if you plan to dive less than 6 hours, you need to determine the amount of excess nitrogen you have to account for. So this is saying that it is 1 hour after, so there is going to be some nitrogen that we need to account for. So then to find out which pressure group you are in, we said this was 5,000 feet. For every 1,000 feet of altitude, you add 2 pressure groups. And so since we have 5,000 feet, we multiply 5 times the 2 pressure groups, which is 10. So we count down 10 pressure groups, and that should bring us to J. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So at the time of landing, we're in pressure group J. Alright, and so since it's a 1 hour surface interval, we take from pressure group J, use the surface interval table, find the 1 hour, and get to the new pressure group. So if we go over to 1 hour, which is, here's the 50 to an hour and 11 minutes, and that takes us to pressure group C. So we are now in pressure group C. Then from the repetitive dive table, you look at group C for 100 feet. So we got 100 feet here for group C, and the no decompression limit here is 12 minutes. Okay. And then the second part of the question is, what is your no decompression limit, or excuse me, what is your no decompression limit if you wait 6 hours before making the dive? So for the last question, since you waited 6 hours, you don't have to account for any excess nitrogen. So you use the no decompression limit table for 100 feet. And if you go down, you can see the maximum is 20 minutes. So in this case, the answer would be C. The only other thing to note on the theoretical depth to altitude chart is that every dive requires an emergency 3-minute decompression stop. And the depth data here shows what depth you need to be at based on the altitude you're at. So I hope this has been helpful, and if you have any questions, feel free to post a comment and I can try to help you if I can. So thanks for watching.